Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all now to our discussion on education. And I'm delighted to be joined this morning by Dr. Margaret McMenamin, who opened our session, president of Union County College. And on my right, Sheila Thorpe, who is the executive director and the founder of Teams, Union County Teams Charter School.
Yes.
And I know what that stands for. I wrote that all down. Technology, engineering, architecture, math, and science.
That's correct.
And we'll talk about your program a little bit more extensively. You're a charter school, K-12 charter school based in Plainfield. So thank you both for being here this morning. And Dr. McMenamin, thank you so much for hosting us at this facility.
Happy to do so.
Tell us a little bit about Union County College.
Well, we are the first of New Jersey's 19 county colleges, founded in 1933 to help retrain people for jobs during the Depression. And we've had several evolutions since 33. At one point, we were a sleepy private junior college, small here in Cranford. But over the last 30 years, we've evolved into a comprehensive community college where not only do we have transfer education programs, that is preparing kids at the first 2 years to transfer for a baccalaureate degree, we have an extensive array of career programs like nursing and paralegal, things of that nature. And we also do lifelong learning, continuing education, whether it's avocational, recreational, or GED training, or customized job training, which is a big partnership for us with local business and industry to stimulate economic development. So we do everything in education: career, transfer, lifelong learning, customized job training, and college preparation for students who are maybe underprepared, forgot what they learned, or maybe didn't do as well in high school. We have a segment of our college students who come in here and take developmental reading, writing, and mathematics classes where students have a second chance. And we call that our open door. So we're a comprehensive community college, relatively large, with nearly 40,000 credit and non-credit students.
That's terrific. It's interesting you use the term junior college, and that's a term that I haven't even heard for a while. So that's an old term. This whole series is actually done in partnership with the New Jersey Council on County Colleges. Many of our sessions are being held in county colleges, and it's really been surprising and enlightening to me as I travel around the state to see what incredible facilities we have and how many people are taking advantage of the county colleges.
More than half of the college students in New Jersey are getting their education at a county college. New Jersey's county colleges, and Union County College specifically, is really making a major difference for students, for families, but also for business and industry, because we train the workforce of the future.
And I know that you guys just signed a pretty historic articulation agreement within the past few weeks.
That's right. And recently we signed an agreement with Caldwell College, and a big part of our mission is job training and career education, but another large part of our mission is getting students through an associate's degree and prepared to transfer to the college of their choice, the four-year college of their choice. And most recently, while we probably have hundreds of articulation agreements, very recently we signed one with Caldwell College, where our students will have a seamless transfer, but they'll also have an opportunity to take their third and fourth year classes at our Elizabeth campus. We're all about access, and we want to make sure that everyone who wants to, everyone who has the ability to benefit from it, has an opportunity for higher ed. And with Caldwell College, we're really bringing that right into Union County.
That's terrific. And opportunities for higher education and for education, that's really the basis for charter schools, correct?
That's correct.
Tell us about the charter school that you founded, when you founded it, and why you did that.
Right. It was 2005 that the school was founded. It was founded out of an initiative of building, really, at the Shiloh Baptist Church, where the school is housed. And one of the things that we thought about as we were looking at this structure going up was about all of the education that was lost in actually this built environment that was happening, and youngsters were not benefiting from all of the numerous careers that are involved in putting a building together and raising the funds, the lawyers, the architects, the engineers, the plumbers, the electricians. All of those various careers were very, very much a part of the thought behind this, this school. We put together a think tank of educators. We put together, in that think tank were teachers, as well as technology, information technology people. We also had mathematicians and scientists. We wanted to know, what do you need in order to be successful in these careers of architecture and engineering, et cetera, math, science. And the funny thing about it was that they all said communication. They all came back to the very basics of knowing how to read, how to write, how to be literate, how to communicate well. And because of that, we began with the school that was a K-8 school. And it's a very small school. I am an advocate of smaller learning communities.
What's your ratio, your class ratio?
Class ratio is 1 to 20, and in some instances is 1 to 10, because we also have instructional assistants who work alongside of our teachers. But because I'm such an advocate of smaller learning communities, I knew that the heart of this school and its success would be in the small numbers and the nurture and the care that goes along with all of the academics. Our parents are members of the community at large in Plainfield, as well as several outside communities who also. We do sometimes draw from other communities. And when a youngster is in a charter school, if they transfer to another district, if they choose to, they may stay at that particular charter school. So in our second chartering, because charter schools are chartered for the first 4 years, and then you have to apply for the renewal application. We wanted not only a renewal, but an expansion. Our parents were beating up on us. What do we do with these children after they've graduated or been promoted from the 8th grade? So we thought about it and we went back to the think tank. We said, okay, think tank, what do we do? Well, all youngsters who are coming to the charter school may not necessarily go into engineering, may not go into architecture, but there's all those offshoots of those careers in terms of technology and computer technicians and all of the other things, math and science. So what we decided to do was that we wanted to expand, but we wanted to expand into a high school that would also partner with a community college.
And you have established a wonderful partnership.
We have a wonderful partnership with Union County College. We are part of their Bridge program. It's an excellent program to introduce youngsters to college, because many youngsters who are not top 10% of their classes, they've already said to themselves, I'm not going to college. I don't know why anybody thinks I'm going to college. But what we say to them is, you can do this. And you can do it with support, and you can do it using the community college as the gateway. And that's the
open door that we were talking about. You bet. And you're describing what happens to so many first-generation college students, where there is a feeling that college isn't for me, for no good reason, but just because they're misguided. What happens in the charter schools, in your charter school, Reverend, that you're describing is those wraparound services.
Yes.
And wraparound services for students helps ensure student success.
It does.
The old days, schools used to be about inputs, volume. We have so many students, we have so many volumes of books in the library, we have so many buildings. These days, modern education in this millennium is about outcomes. And we know that students to get to those outcomes, which is graduation.
Yes.
They're dependent on a lot of service, a lot of help, a lot of support. And the wraparound services that you described that are provided in that small environment do make a difference. Those are some of the things that we hope to beef up here at Union County College, because we know that many of our students are first-generation college students, and they need additional support. We want to be that gateway, that welcoming gateway.
The need for additional support is a problem that you find not only in your school, but even at four-year colleges in New Jersey.
We talk about it publicly.
Just don't have what it takes, and then go into remediation. How do we address that problem?
Well, it's beyond just remediation. It's tutoring. Our students in calculus need tutoring, not just the students in developmental math, but it's also advising services, counseling services, career exploration, and financial aid. There are all sorts of things in the service component that help guide students to the outcome, help give them a little boost, a little bit of support when they're feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And we know that's not just kids who feel that way. Sometimes that's adults like us who need somebody there, and we want to make sure that there is a safety net, that there is support for them when they need it, regardless if it's career, tutoring, financial aid, counseling and advising. Those kinds of services do matter.
I resonate exactly with what Dr. McMenamin is saying, and that is one of the things that we found that kids were very fearful of coming to the college. You know, I'm not going to do well, I'm not going to fail. And we have a mantra at the school that says failure is not an option. And it's not because we're going to give you a grade, it's because we're going to put in all of the supports to ensure that you do well. So we have a coordinator who coordinates the program. We have someone who comes with them to the campus, who will sit and make sure that, one, they're going to class, they're kids, they're still young kids, they're going to class. Two, if they need assistance, whatever that assistance may be. In terms of the remediation, it's necessary to build that foundation for the youngster who somehow did not get everything that he or she needed in order to be ready to go into the full-fledged college courses. And although I recognize the need for them, I think what we might do, and that is working together, come to a means of looking at several kinds of ways of identifying youngsters. Let's look at their SAT scores as well. We are asking youngsters in the 11th grade to take the SAT. Because again, this is another awareness piece. Right. You can't wait until you're a senior to take an SAT.
Well, you're in a great position now because you get to start with these kids at kindergarten.
Yes.
And now this is your first year, you said, with the 12th grade class.
12th grade
right?
class,
so
yes.
All the way through. And of course, arguably, hopefully, you have some of the best, brightest, and most motivated children and parents.
And in some instances we do, but remember, we're still a public school. And public schools can't pick and public charter schools can't pick and choose youngsters who will come into the programs.
You actually have a waiting list.
And we do have a waiting list. So we do have some youngsters who still have some challenges academically, and we accept those youngsters and we work with those youngsters. We do have a criteria by which youngsters enter into the 11th grade bridge program at UCC. They must have passed all of their courses prior to that 11th grade year in order to do so. We're just not sending them because they have simply gotten to a particular grade. We're saying to them, you have to earn this as well. Parents, we're saying to them, your job, assist them, help them, encourage them. That's one of the biggest things parents can do to help us.
Well, that's one of the biggest challenges in education today.
Of course.
Public education is teaching it to the whole child.
Teaching to the whole
so
child.
Many children bring in so many different issues besides just the academic issues.
That's very, very true. We find that because of all of the other things that are going on in their heads, in their lives, in their environments, those become hindrances to their success. So we're trying to help them overcome those, help them learn how to cope with those kinds of things in order that they are successful.
And you've probably got that problem as well. You've got not just young people, but as you said, people at all stages of life. And you're not really, it's not a residential experience. You know, they don't come onto campus and be able to hang out. It's not community, you know, you form your friends and your groups. But how do you make them feel a part of a community here, bolster a learning experience, and make them retain the environment that's here when they're back out working or working several jobs, raising families, I mean, all those things.
Well, we have a population of returning adult students, and that's because our mission for access, affordability, and excellence resonates not only with recent graduates from high school, but also with returning adults, individuals who are underemployed or unemployed. We have a great college life experience. We want students to come onto campus and stay on campus. We know that things like support that I described earlier help students succeed, but we also know that clubs and activities and honor societies and organizations also help to engage students. An engaged student is a student who's more likely to do well in school and graduate. An engaged student is someone who's connected to somebody else at the college, connected to the school, connected to a professor or an organization. We know that students who are connected on campus are more likely to graduate. So along the theme of outcomes, and the big outcome being graduation, engagement in college life helps to facilitate that outcome. So we have a thriving college life experience, whether it's through honor societies or various clubs, organizations, wonderful information commons in our library, more of a social eating commons out here in the Ritual Commons adjacent to the theater. But we try to create an environment that is appealing, that some component will appeal to everyone, whether it's the chess club or the drama club or the newly instituted men's lacrosse team. We want students to get connected. You know, something that Reverend Thorpe said earlier really, I thought, hit the nail on the head. We talk so much about skill development and specialized programs, but what our employers come to us and what your task force said to you, they want the soft skills.
Yes.
Can they think critically? Can they reason quantitatively? Can they speak clearly? Good oral and written communication skills? Are they adept with technology?
Yes.
And can they work well with others? And others who are different.
Yes.
And having a diversity of working experiences and human experiences, those are the skills that we hear over and over again. Whether it's a nursing group who comes in to talk to us, advisory committee, or if it's an engineering advisory committee, one of the STEM professions or one of the health professions, whether it's business owners where we send interns throughout the county, they all want students with those soft skills. And that's a major point of emphasis here across the college. Those are our college-wide learning outcomes, and we expect that those outcomes are being reinforced, introduced in some courses, reinforced, and emphasized in every single one of our classes here at Union County College.
Union County is one of the most diverse counties we've got in the state. So obviously that adds a lot to your, I would think, to your student population.
It certainly does, and it strengthens our student populations. I regularly hear from students and families that they came here for the diversity of the experience, and we hear all the time from employers through our new Career Services Center and through our counseling department that they want to hire our graduates because they know they have come from a diverse learning environment rather than a homogeneous one that may not really prepare them for the real work life out there in this global workforce that we have.
And how do you deal with the issue of preparing students for a diverse world?
I think what Dr. McMenamin has just said is key. We are a small learning community where our population is predominantly African American and Hispanic. So our youngsters are not going to get a great deal of diversity unless they leave our campus. And that's one of the things that we are grateful for at Union County College. When they leave our campus, they come to another campus where they see youngsters of all different hues, backgrounds, etc. They see various age groups, all of the genders. I mean, it is imperative for youngsters to have that kind of experience in terms of diversity if they're going to be successful and have great outcomes. Because the world isn't a place of just a particular group of people. We're in a global world now. I mean, global economy. You're twittering and you're talking to someone from another place. I mean, you're Skyping. You're looking at people from India and Peru and Africa. I mean, the world isn't as small as we used to believe that it was. It's not a geographical world. It's a global world.
And that's one of the best parts about Union County because it is so diverse, and we have it has been historically the Port of Elizabeth, the port of entry for so many. And right now we have at Union County College, we have the Institute for Intensive English, which is housed in our Elizabeth campus, where individuals from over 100 different countries are learning how to speak our language, learning, preparing for citizenship, learning about our history, and it strengthens us. It makes us better. It makes the county better, it makes the college better, and we believe that the future leaders of New Jersey and of our nation will come from Union County because of this strength that we have, this internationalization, this diversity, and the partnerships that we have, not only the educational partnerships, but candidly the political partnerships. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican in Union County, I see a unique trait in our political leaders in that they work together regardless, they cross party lines.
Well, that communication, not just with politicians, with elected officials, but with county officials, with local officials, that communication is really key to success.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference. And when everybody's focused on a common goal of improving life for the residents of Union County through economic development, through education, through better health care, it makes for a great county.
Let's talk about gender diversity for a moment. The professions that you focus on that are uniquely not welcoming to females, huge shortage of females in those professions. How do you address that? Is that part of the program?
It is part of the program. As a matter of fact, we also have a partner, Turner Construction. And you may know Turner Construction from NJPAC and some of the other entities that they've built, as well as the Shiloh Church. But one of the civil engineers who was a part of that group was a female. And she came to us and talked to our young ladies to let them know that this is something you can do as well. And for us, that was one of the brightest spots that we had in terms of opening up these various careers to young ladies. You can do this too. So for those young ladies who are interested in those areas, I mean, it's wide open, and they see it. Our partnership continues whenever they come. We ask them, always send the ladies as well as the guys. So when we do we have a bridge project that we do with our middle schoolers every year. And so last year, I think we had 3 of their engineers, and two of them were female, one was a male. We had an architect who came as well. So they get to see that there are possibilities for them through real live people and their experiences.
And of course, that's such an area of shortage for everybody in this country. Now, we don't focus on engineering, we don't focus on science and technology. Is there a special focus here at Union County College in those areas?
Actually, throughout higher ed in the United States, particularly here at Union, with our STEM programs, we are the beneficiary of a Title V grant over the last several years to focus our students on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have a robust engineering program here, the Professor Elmer Wolf program, named after a visionary leader here at the college who began the first minority engineering program in New Jersey. And we have large diversity in our engineering program, including many women. The chairwoman of my board of governors is Liz Garcia from Infinium, who is an engineer herself, and we similarly bring many onto our campus. We have a focus on math success at this point. We know that if our desired outcome is more graduates in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, architecture, the teams, as you call them, STEM as we call them, students must be able to do well in math. So our big point of emphasis to get us there with the outcome in mind is focus on math success. And those are always points of emphasis here at the college.
Let's talk about finances for a minute. And first of all, let's talk about the finances of students being able to afford higher education. I know we've got issues with Pell Grants being curtailed in the country. I mean, how do you find most of your students here? Clearly they know, I would assume, that they need a college degree or a certificate more than ever in this economy. How are they doing this financially, given the economy that we're in?
It's always a struggle, but I love when people talk about the high cost of higher education, because in my mind, it's a no-brainer. Go spend your first 2 years at a community college. It's like getting a 2-year scholarship. You will save a minimum of $100,000 if you do your first 2 years at Union County College and then seamlessly transfer to the college of your choice.
And do you have other integration programs where you can, I know in some counties you can actually get your certificate while you're still in high school, so that when you graduate, you can
And
have
that's
your
through some of the bridge programs in high school. But the challenge is getting the word out to people, that it's not just about access.
Right.
Affordability does matter, but access and affordability don't mean much if you don't have excellence. At the county colleges, at Union County College, they will get an education that is as good or better than their four-year college experience, because not only do we have master faculty, they are not bound to be publishing, researching, generating grants, writing articles. The sole focus of their work is helping students to learn. You'll never be taught by a graduate assistant at Union County College. Your professor will teach you. Your professor will come to class and will know your name.
And that has to be a big help for your students.
Oh, it's a wonderful help for our students. When we started this school and we thought about how we were going to partner with the college, one of the things I said to our board and to our business administrator, let's find the money. We're not bound again by so many restrictions at a charter school, so that what we decided to do was to make sure that we created a program so that at half-day junior year, they may begin to come to the college. We not only promote it and talk about it, we make it happen. We pay the tuition for them to come. We have all kinds of little contracts that they have to sign, and parents sign with us.
How many of your parents are college graduates themselves?
I would say, off the top of my head, we probably have less than 20% of our parents who are college graduates. Many of our youngsters, again, are going to be the first time youngsters in their family to attend a college and get a college degree.
So you really have to educate the parents as well.
Oh, yes.
About the need for college.
But one of the things I find about parents who are not necessarily college graduates is that they want that for their children.
They value
Whether
it.
they've been there or not, they are pushing them. Oh, you're going to go. I don't want to hear it. You will be there. And so that really helps us. I have to tell a personal story about Union County College, and that's why Union County College is so dear to me on a personal level. About 25, maybe 27 years ago, one of my younger brothers came to live with me, and he had not done well in high school. Matter of fact, this kid had more D's than I could possibly imagine in any one transcript. Wasn't a youngster who didn't know how and didn't have the ability, but just kind of made his way through high school, I guess the best way he could. He says, I've got to go, so this is what I'll do. Long story short, he comes to live with us. So my husband and I look at him one day. He's sitting around, watching television and eating a Twinkie. And I say to him, look, kid, you've got one of two things to do. You have to find a job or go to school. My preference, go to school. Well, I can't go to school. My grades aren't this, my grades aren't that. But I said, there is a place called Union County College. I need you to go there, make application, get your transcripts, let them determine where you fit in. So he started at Union County College. He had to take a couple of the remedial courses, and he griped about that. And I said, look, get through that, and then you'll be ready for your for the college courses. One semester he spent in remediation. After that, he got into the college courses, and I said to him one day, this is a kid, remember, he got D's and some F's. Well, what do you want to do? He says, I think I'm going to do an applied science. I like science. So he stuck with the sciences. He received an associate's degree in I think it was chemistry. He left Union County College, went to NJIT, finished his degree. He said, I want to be an engineer. I'm going like, this kid's going to be an engineer? Sure. Goes to NJIT, finishes there, gets his degree as a civil engineer, came to me after he graduated and said, look, sis, he has 3 job offers. One is for, this is back in 1970 something, late 70s.
And where is he today?
Today, he's an engineer, and he's all over the world making more money than I will ever make.
And I'm sure that's the kind of success story you hear a lot.
And we do hear it a
And
lot.
driving into the campus this morning, if indication of the traffic is any indication of your success, which I think it is, a lot of people are coming here and hoping to replicate this experience. How are you going to fit all these people on this campus?
Well,
let's talk
the
about
good
finance.
news is we have 2 other campuses.
Right.
The main campus here in Cranford, but our fastest growing campus is in the city of Elizabeth, and we have a smaller campus in Plainfield. But candidly, our fastest growth is on online education, where you can take a course or two. Most students do not take their entire degree online. But if you're taking 4 or 5 courses, if you could take one of those courses as an online course, it'll make a difference.
So do you offer all your courses online? or
No,
just
no.
Which
About
courses tend
that. Well, the most popular are English and psychology, sociology. There's history. There's a variety of them, but not all of them. Not all of them are suited for online, and only about 10% of what we do is online. But it is growing, and that is becoming a more and more popular option, especially as these digital natives, or as they're now being called, digital residents, are moving in. They're more comfortable with it. That's part of it.
It's also changing education because the professors have to change as well. To
You
deliver
bet.
online
Education,
instruction.
and that's the big talk in higher ed today, is that education is changing. Education has to change. The students are changing, the world is changing, the economy is changing, business and industry is changing. We must change in order to remain relevant. And one of those changes is the technological aspect in higher ed. So more of our students are taking online courses, although we will never be an online college. Many of our students are opting to take classes in the city of Elizabeth, and we have some very popular programs in the city of Plainfield, and we have to look at how we're scheduling our classes. We cannot schedule every class between 8:30 and noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday and
Not everyone
Thursday,
will be accessible and relevant.
and have the campus empty all day Friday, or from 2 to 4 on most afternoons. We have to do a better job, a more efficient job of scheduling those classes. If we're true to our mission for access, affordability, and excellence, then we must do everything possible to use the capacity we have.
And we're using that capacity almost, we're out of capacity in New Jersey for higher education.
We
at this
have
point.
challenges. We're going to continue to squeeze that to get as much as possible. We have on a Friday night here in Cranford, you'll see students coming in at 8 o'clock at night to take classes. We still have some capacity, but the problem here at Union and at many colleges is the infrastructure is aging.
Right.
Last year I had a 36-hour power failure on the Cranford campus because a 50-year-old fuse blew. It wasn't a little fuse like this, it was a huge fuse, but the building that we're in was built in 1959, and we need to update our infrastructure.
And there's a bond issue that's on the ballot this year. If that passes, how much does Union County College receive from that? And I'm sure you have plans for that money. What would those plans be?
Never enough money, but we do have plans for it, and we want to help renovate and restore and expand our academic capacity here on campus. We need to do a better job. We don't want our kids going to New York and Delaware and Pennsylvania. For us to be competitive, to prepare this generation to be the future business, political, and healthcare leaders, educational leaders of the future, we want our kids to get a great education at home.
We don't seem to do that well in New Jersey. You know, we're almost the highest, the state with the highest ratio in the country of sending kids out of state because there are so many options here. You've had a chance to work with a unique population where you are, a chosen population to a degree, self-selected, and obviously your population's a lot bigger. How do we take an issue like education that's so vital and so important, to, not just to individual futures, but to the future of the state? How do we make it more of a priority in New Jersey?
I think that it has become a national priority, and I personally believe that it's a priority in New Jersey. We've got every legislative, bipartisan effort. Democrats, Republicans, this is not a blue or a red issue. This is a green issue for the state. It's about the future of our children and our grandchildren. And these are the leaders who are going to be taking care of us when we get old. I think there is a strong commitment in New Jersey for education, as evidenced by this bipartisan bond issue. There's a commitment that higher education, if you care about the economy, you have to care about higher education. You care about jobs, you have to care about higher education. If you care about bringing new business and industry and retaining and developing what we have, you have to care about education. And I'm hearing, if I close my eyes, it's the same message from everyone across the state. We must invest in higher ed, and we're getting that support, certainly in Union County at the county level, and the support that we've gotten from the state has been admirable.
That's terrific. And you see this, you said that it's such a goal for many of your parents.
It really is a goal for many of our parents, and the fact that as a charter school, we also have a unique place where we can help this promotion in terms of education and higher education. Whenever charter schools decide that it is imperative that youngsters in high school begin to whet their appetites for college at the community college level, we send a message to all of the parents who are in our small group, but we also send a message to other schools around the district. This is the way to go. To me, high school has to begin to look at what we do for youngsters who need 120, 25 credits to graduate, who can accumulate almost all of those credits in 3 years if they pass everything they're supposed to pass. What are you going to do with youngsters who've already opted to complete the high school curriculum, and now they have an entire year where they probably need to take one English course and one phys ed course in order to graduate? It's not time for basket weaving. It's time to go into the community college.
You know, we spend a lot of time talking about getting kids ready for college and getting ready for the real world from college. You deal with both ends of the spectrum, from K to 12.
Yes.
What do you find the level of readiness is for your kids as they come into school, and how do you deal with that level of readiness?
When you say level of readiness into the kindergarten,
Children come in. Have they had preschool?
they've had, oh yes, all of our youngsters. That's one thing that I can say about the state of New Jersey. They really have a major initiative to prepare youngsters for school with their preschool programs. That's major in the state. It has been for at least the last 5 years. A lot of money was put into that initiative. We're hoping that they will go back to it and revisit it and fund those programs again in a greater way. But at the same time, as we get youngsters into that kindergarten grade, we begin to work with them immediately. And one of the things we've done just recently, we hired a young graduate engineer, and he's talking to kindergartners about engineering. You know, they're doing building blocks and bridges, and they're looking at structures, integrating this whole discipline into their school day, so that by the time they get to 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, we're bringing the youngsters to the college campus. I made it an initiative last year that all of my 4th and 5th graders had to go and visit one of the community colleges, one of the 4-year colleges. That's a part of what we do. Can you imagine all these little guys, they're 8, 9 years old, on the college campus looking around at all of these buildings and all of these big kids going to college? We have to do more to promote higher ed at that elementary level, so that we get them ready.
As you said, with parents, I mean, I think many of us who are college graduates we underestimate just the culture in many families of, you know, going back for a reunion on college campus. I mean, things that most people take for granted.
Right.
If you don't have those experiences growing up,
we have to create those. We have to create those opportunities for youngsters, and that's one of the things that we can do at Union County Teams. We do a great deal of creating opportunities, of presenting to youngsters that which they may not have had an opportunity to engage in at any other time.
What kind of an impact do you think charter schools are making on education in New Jersey?
I think charter schools are making a great impact in the state of New Jersey. I have this weird way of looking at things. One of the things that I thought about as a product of Plainfield Public Schools, the charter school was not started out as an entity, as an adversary to Plainfield Public Schools or any school. I thought of charter schools as a help. We relieve the pressure from some of the large public schools so that the class sizes are now smaller. Our class size is smaller, your class size is smaller. So now that we are both dealing with smaller groups of youngsters, we can make a greater impact together. So charter schools and public schools, I believe, can coexist as long as we recognize the value that each of us brings to education.
And you said you're a chartered public school.
Yes, all charter schools are public schools.
So you then must accept everyone who comes to you.
Of course. We have a lottery every year for grades where we receive more applications than we have seats. Remember now, we're a smaller learning community.
Right.
So we only have 2 open grades. We have kindergarten, which is an open grade of 20 students, and 6th grade, which is an open grade of 20 students. Other than that, we're filling slots of youngsters who have either moved away or made another decision to go to a different venue.
Great. We're just about out of time, but let me close, give each a chance to give you that magic wand question that we asked in the first panel. If you could do one thing that you think would really impact your community here at Union County College, what would have the most beneficial impact that you can imagine?
Well, the most beneficial impact would be to beef up my foundation so that every student who wanted to come to college who didn't have the resources to do so would be able to. And that's given as there's less and less county and state support in terms of tax support. I mean, New Jersey folks are tired of being overtaxed, and more of the burden to go to college is being placed on the students. And there are a lot of working class and middle class students who are challenged. I would beef up our foundation and say everybody who wants to can get a higher education. They can get the support they need. I'm concerned about college loan debt, and I'd love to see that happen.
Great. And from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think, again, the foundation is an excellent idea, but I also believe that government can do a better job. We have to not only talk about how important higher ed is, but we also have to support it with dollars. Youngsters who are going to school in this day and age and having to take out loans upon loans upon loans of hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to get an education, I believe can be offset with government initiatives that reduce not only the interest rates, but also create other avenues for youngsters to pay those monies back in working in different areas, especially since we're into this whole STEM initiative. Let's say to youngsters who are going into technology, engineering, math, science, architecture, if you will go into those industries and you will work, then we will reduce your loan by 50% or whatever percentage it is. Because now what we are doing is actually creating an opportunity for them to get the education, and also one for us to use them to build our infrastructure and rebuild those things that we really need to build in this world.
And perhaps the online classes that you're doing, online education, is a way of making education more affordable. But you know, it sounds as we've got excellent academic choices and educational choices in this county. It's the access that's really the concern.
Well, no, the county college provides the access. We
Well,
provide the
that's-
access with the campuses and with the online. Our challenge is more and more affordability becomes more of a challenge. It does.
And then using it, having youngsters recognize it and parents recognize it as a viable option. And that's one of the things that I think is missing. As I told the story of my brother, his whole idea of going to college was he had to go to a 4-year school first. And I said to him, sometimes, baby, you have to crawl.
We have lots of options.
You know,
so.
we have other options.
But thank you both for being here and giving us such excellent examples of the two of the options that do exist in Union County, charter schools and with Union County College. Thanks so much for your participation this morning.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, Rebecca.